Well, a lot can change in an off-season, but no matter what happens, we say, good.
I would challenge you, man, when bad happens here, we're going to say, good. When good happens here, we're going to say, good. We're always fucking good. We're always good. I'm good. Something bad happens, good. Something good happens, good. Doesn't change. We ain't doing this shit. That ain't who we are. All right?
And while a lot has changed, a lot has stayed the same, too. This is the first normal off-season for the Wave in quite some time.
A normal off-season where there isn't, you're at a new place, new job, as many new people now in a situation where a lot of staff continuity, a better understanding of maybe the place and the strengths we have here, and all of the people that are in place outside of football as well. Changes sort of, you can really evaluate things to a deeper level and less rushed, as opposed to when you're new on the job, you're just trying to get things put together and make sure it doesn't fall apart.
You just feel more comfortable coming into an off-season, a workout, just knowing that you know what's gonna be asked of you and you know what you gotta give to make the coaches and other players happy.
Gives you a continuity, especially in the standards of your program. So it's so important, especially nowadays in college athletics with turnover of roster all the time, trying to maintain an elite level of standards in your program is so difficult because you always have so many new faces and new people in the building. So this year going to our second offseason here at Tulane and having the same coaching staff from top to bottom, where we can now build further from just the basics of what our standards and expectations are of the program, and now we can push to raise our standards higher. We can push to a higher level, knowing the expectations of where we are and who we are.
But I think athletically, as you look at maybe the depth of the team, last year at this point it felt like there were 12 to 15, maybe even 17 guys that it's like, okay, what's the fit here? How's it work? Where could they add value to certain things we're doing? This current state of the offseason, you feel like, okay, I can see why every one of these guys is here. Now we just have to get them pointed in the right direction towards their development. But you see a lot more value in each player of regards to like what the trajectory of their development looks like.
One thing that is back and better than ever is the Gauntlet. While it might look the same, each year the Gauntlet requires something different from the team.
I think some of the players thought, well, this is going to end whether we do it right or not, and that's not the case. Coach Sumrall said, hey, we're going to do this into spring ball if we have to. And I think they realized around Gauntlet 5 or 6 he was serious about that.
All over the place. We have got to dial in. Your focus has got to be a damn 10 out of 10 at the end when the game is on the fucking line. The game is on the line.
You can't beat yourself. You know, we talk about the Wave, don't beat the Wave. We all play for Tulane. And it's about us not beating ourselves and being able to do the simple things really, really well.
You know, you bring in 34 some odd new players in January, and they've never been exposed to that. And immediately they're thrown into a situation where they have to think about everything but themselves and how they operate in a team and you know, being perfect at a specific station in a specific way. And it demands such meticulous detail that I think it's a shock to a lot of people's systems, even some of the new coaches who are just starting to figure out how it works.
The Gauntlet in year one, establishing expectations and standards of a program, and now you're rolling to year two, and okay, we know who we want to be, we know what our mold is, we know what our expectations and standards are. Now it's, can we create a team out of the players that we have?
It was a real challenge for the leaders of the team that's been here since last year to bring along those guys who may not have done the Gauntlet before or never seen anything like this before.
You know, Coach Sumrall says it all the time. Coach-led teams can be good, but player-led teams are great. Those are teams that win championships and make playoff runs and do things that are special in college athletics. And our entire goal, on top of the expectation of a championship here, not just getting stronger and getting faster and doing these things, but we need to keep pushing our culture forward and creating a cohesive unit on the field rather than just 105 guys who play football but don't play for anything besides the game.
We can talk about goes for as long as we want, but competing in the Gauntlet is a totally different animal.
So coming from 2 previous schools in Virginia Tech and Appalachian State, we did similar things to the Gauntlet, but nothing nearly as hard as this. I think Coach Witt does a really good job of making the Gauntlet very intense.
You're gonna have a one-on-one matchup all day, but it can be confusing to the outsiders because you'll think, yeah, you have to win your one-on-one, but ultimately, as you're trying to win your one-on-one, you have to beat the Gauntlet. So not only are you competing with the man that you've been matched up with, you're competing together as a whole to actually achieve the overall goal of winning the Gauntlet and beating the Gauntlet.
Team on 2, 1, 2. Hey.
Coming in, I knew DG had basically done well last year. I think he was first team all conference, so I kind of wanted to prove myself, and I think going up against DG was a really good test. So, yeah.
When you talk about a one-on-one matchup, obviously the ultimate goal is to go out there and compete and try to win your one-on-one matchup, but at the same time, it's a bigger picture as well. It's about the team. So while you are trying to win your one-on-one matchup, you need to pay attention to like the little details of not hitting a bag, not hitting a cone, not posting, or whatever the case may be, so that you can ultimately beat the Gauntlet as a team.
So you have to pick other guys up, and you just can't focus on yourself and win your one-on-one. You have to do that you have to win your one-on-one rep, but you also have to make sure the guy in front of you is stepping up, make sure nobody's posting on the ground, make sure nobody's not touching the line. So it's like you got to do all these things at the same time, try to win your one-on-one rep. So it does a good job of emulating the game, because especially as an offensive lineman.
Yeah, you want to win, but at the same time, if you don't do the drill properly, not only are you costing yourself, you're costing the whole team.
The college football landscape changes so quickly these days, and now more than ever, teams need great leaders. This is when we find out who some of those leaders will be.
Stand up.
You know, everybody wants to talk about the new shiny transfer or the guy that's maybe more of a known player from his past, whether it be here or somewhere else. The core of your team, though, is usually the blue-collar guy that does some of the dirty work that a lot of people won't notice.
There's got to be some foundation. If you don't have the foundation, well, then what are your standards? So having guys that have been through the program, who have done it before, that matters a lot, because having guys that have been here from the Cotton Bowl year, you know, they know what it's like to reach the highest level. And that's important, because you also have guys who have been around when, right before the Cotton Bowl year, this program wasn't successful. So knowing where you came from and knowing where you still want to get to, that matters a lot.
I think it's really key to have those glue guys or guys who's been around the program for a long time, because they came in to a program that maybe people just now get into, but we know the standard. We've set the standard here. And I think having those key guys in a program helps the coaches not only be able to coach other players, but help you as a leader be able to train those other guys to learn, like, this is the way we do things around here.
Here we go, come on.
I'm definitely Makai Williams. Like, I'm so proud of him, because just seeing like where he's come from when I first met him up until this point, it's like night and day. Like, I mean, he always had good work ethic, but now he's taking it to a different level. And just seeing that, just being next to him and just competing with him, competing against him is just, it's awesome, man. It's making me better, man. I don't know if he knows it or not, but it's making me better.
I honestly just been trying to do my job.
I've been trying to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. I feel like these last 2 years, I've been struggling with trying to figure out where I stand, whether it's just a special teams captain, even though sometimes I want more for myself, and sometimes I do get a little bit disappointed when I don't get those things. But when I have those moments, you know, I get to talk to Sam and I get to talk to some of these other guys, and I get to just focus on my role and what I can do for them. And I kind of felt myself this year kind of getting into that role. At the end of last year, it kind of sat with me where I'm like, if I'm just meant to be a special teams player, I'm going to be a special teams player. And I'm going to make sure I get player of the game for special teams, and I'm going to make sure I can do everything, flip the field position on special teams. So this year, I'm going into this year with the same mindset of I'm just going to put my head down and work and try to bring others up with me who might be feeling, may or may not be feeling the same thing.
Come on, Twan! Run, Twan! Go finish!
Where last year he was just trying to find his way, now he's able to influence others positively for the good of the team, and you're starting to see his character of who he is come out and shine through a lot more.
Just me knowing coming into this off season that I know I had some big shoes to fill, but also knowing I'm gonna have a bigger role going into this season, and it starts right now during this off season. I'm a leader, and my job is to make people surrounding me and people in my room become lead by themselves, and you know, recognize what they could do and what their most talents are for the future.
I don't care how talented, you know, potentially talented a transfer player you bring in is, or how fast, or you know, numbers I put up before. If your team doesn't have a solid cornerstone foundation of what your standard, who the personality of your team is, it doesn't matter who you bring in the transfer portal, it doesn't matter who you add to the team, there's nothing to add to.
Attitude, toughness, discipline, and love. Words that we live by in this program. This year, we will need to master each one of our core values to conquer the gauntlet.
Those things here, they're not fucking words on a wall, man. Like, I want you to know what we're talking about when we talk about attitude. I want you to know what we're talking about toughness.
It was almost like poetic justice that as we were going through the gauntlet, the core value focus of the week, you could see its need for the current situation we were in. During certain parts of going through the gauntlet and the week we were talking about each core value, you felt the application of how real and how needed and how timely those conversations were. Character isn't one of the core values, but it's a foundation we build the core values on. And then the attitude, toughness conversations were right on time. Like, you have to be positive to finish anything the right way. Toughness and mental toughness about like, what will break you? What will you allow to break you? You determine how tough you are. And then discipline about those little things become big things. The ability to defer short-term gratification for long-term growth. They all kind of came up in a time frame that was needed for us to get something out of it to be able to finish the gauntlet the right way.
Here's the deal, you talked about it, like you get beat, good, get to learn something. Like something goes wrong in the gauntlet, good. Get a chance to redo it, get it right. Like, don't look at a callback and go, oh, you're not gonna change anything by that. That doesn't help you change, you still get called back. So if you go, good, I get to go back to that station and get up. I'm about to go dominate. Like, we're gonna fucking kill this shit right here. Like, I'm gonna do it better than I've ever done it, because we got called back. I'm gonna prove I've mastered this shit.
After that meeting, we fixed that immediately. And then it was on to toughness. So now you gotta grind through some stuff. You got a little injury, you have to get through it. Stuff's gonna be hard, and you gotta out tough it, honestly. And then after that meeting, we did that. And then we got to discipline. And I think this was the biggest one, because this one I think encapsulates everything. If you have discipline, you can do all the other core values. And I think once we decided to do all the little things, make sure everybody was out on the field at the same time, make sure everybody touched the line, make sure nobody posted, I think that in itself just made us come closer as a team, and that's when we completed the Gauntlet.
First spring practice is supposed to be March 18th. If we don't pass the Gauntlet, we'll start it March 20th or March 22nd or March, like we'll push it back. I don't give a shit. We'll push it back. We're gonna beat this because like we talked about, you can't beat anybody if you don't beat yourselves. The Wave don't beat the Wave.
In order to win, you gotta lose. Sometimes you have to lose a lot, like to win, to learn how to win. When Coach was talking to us about, hey, you gotta have a great attitude when you come out there. Like we gotta approach the day the correct way. Guys started like being more uplifting on the way out there, having better energy doing warm-ups. We gotta be tougher. Like guys are bending over too much. Guys are not working hard, not going hard enough. Boom, we hit that. Like then we got discipline. Like I don't know if you remember, but before we talked about discipline, I think that day we made it to the third round, and I think we had about 10 minutes to beat it. And each time it was just one guy. Like, and each time we messed up in the third round, it was just one guy. So Coach was like harped on discipline. So once we got to that point, it's just like, hey, we know how to work hard. We know how to attack the day the correct way. Now it's all about how mentally focused can I be for a long period of time. And I think guys honed in on that day when we beat it, and we got the results we wanted.
All you gotta do is check out. Good. Go back, Don. Big dog. Big dog.
Yeah, I mean, I was just basically trying to soak all this moment in. It's one of my last times going through it, and I just want to bring as many people as I can with me, man. It's I think we need to be able to enjoy the journey a little bit more than the final destination. Man, we're out there just sweating, bleeding, crying with other people out there. Like those are the moments that you feel good about, like being able to complete something with those guys, and just the love and bond I have with my teammates. Just they feel like brothers to me. Every single one of them feels like a brother. So I think getting through a tough moment with family, with your teammates, with your brothers, like it only brings you closer together, and it's just nothing but excitement for me when I can see like my other guys who did it right, we finished it, and just be able to celebrate with the guys.
It's almost like winning a game and watching the guys win a game and finding a way to win the game on their own. You know, we're there to guide them, direct them, and we talk a lot about good teams can be coach-led, but great teams have to be player-led. And when you get to where you're able to beat it and you're able to finish the drill, it's because the players have taken ownership. And so it's almost like you're able to observe them figuring it out, them growing and stepping into something without having to maybe push them into it.
Tulane, bringing the pain. Tulane, bringing the pain. Tulane, running the game, running the game, running the game.
We run the game by all means possible. 2010, this our year, we don't stop. I go by the name of Mr. Big Chris. I'm the main reason why your head coach pissed. Scratching teams off the list each and every week. Green Wave front page, just watch and see. Saturday, Superdome, where you wanna be. All expense paid trip, Tennessee.